This is the network service of the NTA.
Big things from such a small place.
Don't think about such things.
Why not?
You would be disappointed.
Hey Fiona, how is your life?
It is fine.
Young girl, come inside. What is your name?
Fiona.
Could you please show Fiona how to move the pieces?
In chess, the small one can become the big one.
You can say anything you wanna say.
Chess helps us solve problems.
Hate me, but I'm gonna love you anyway.
It teaches us to make a plan.
If you didn't have a wall to hide behind,
Use your minds,
bet you fall to pieces when your eyes met mine.
and you will all find safety.
Why are you letting her win?
I'm not letting her.
You can see 8 moves ahead.
Checkmate.
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 She won.
You could be the best in all of Uganda.
Coach, how can I become a champion?
Sometimes the place you are used to is not the place you belong. You belong where you believe you belong. Where is that for you?
None of your sneak attacks. This is not the ghetto.
I don't need to sneak. Checkmate.
This year's gold medalist, Fiona Mute.
Your children are blessed because they have a mother who never gave up on them.
Are you my daughter?
Yes, Mama, yeah. Coach, you told us to make a plan, but I fear things will never change.
What matters is when you reset the pieces
She's winning. She's winning.
and play a game.
Stronger than your bruises, I got thick skin.
That was the trailer of the amazing 2016 movie, Queen of Katwe. Have you seen that movie? I mean, I have, and I learned so much from that movie, and I hope that gives you an idea of what we're talking about today. So I'll tell you a brief story, before I tell you what it is, right? So when I was growing up, my dad used to love games a lot, and then he believed you would learn a lot from games. You would learn discipline, you would learn patience, and so he would buy us games like Ludo, Words, Monopoly, Snake and Ladder, all the likes. And for every time you played the game, you would have to explain to him what you learned from the game. And yes, with that story, I was trying to tell you that today we'll be talking about games. This is a Medley show, and of course, it's going to be a fun time today on the show where we bring you everything you need to know about games, tabletop games, board games, miniature games, card games, and everything in between. Welcome to the show. My name is Tochi Futa. So if you stick around for the next 1 hour, I promise you're going to have a very, very exciting time. But before we get to meet the guests we'll be talking to today, and all the other games we'll be talking about today, let me bring you highlights of a past African board games event that held in Abuja sometime last week. And of course, this was what happened there. Enjoy, we'll be right back.
My name is Ifeanyi, and I identify as a gaming master. I've learned so many games. I probably have learned more than 70 games. My idea is that games really help people connect, right? So in different forms, you can always have a game that even if the person is an introvert, an extrovert, whatever their natural dispensation is, you can get them to communicate, to bond, and get people to bond over games.
My name is Thorsten, coming from Germany. I was explaining games since 20 years. I've seen you play a lot of party games here, but it has a lot of fun.
Highlights from the past African board games event in Abuja. I mean, so many people love to play games. Like, I heard one of them say games help people bond. And I think I actually agree with him, because when you're playing a game and you're not playing alone, you're actually bonding with the person that you are playing the game with. And one thing I think that it does is it makes you drop your mobile phone. Because these days, we seem to give our mobile phones or our gadgets more attention than we give the people who are in the same room with us. So I'm actually excited that games like this help you to bond with people. Speaking about people, I have people in the studio. I have two guests in the studio, and I'm going to be introducing them. The first person is Kenechukwu Obuagu, founder, African Board Games Convention. Kenneth, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
You're also
everyone.
called Casey. Okay, yes, I get that. Kenechukwu Casey.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the show, Kenechukwu. I also have Basi Onwanako. Oh, okay. That was a mouthful, but I got it right.
Yes, you did.
Basi, welcome to the show. Basi is someone who also makes games to help children, to help grow the minds of children and also instill discipline in children, right?
Yes.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so
So
much.
you guys make games, and we're going to be talking about. You were part of the highlights we just saw. So tell me, how did that go? Yeah, you can go first.
Okay, so the African Board Game Convention is like, it's that space you want to be in. I can't quantify it in words, right? So it's it's a gathering of game enthusiasts. So you're seeing people that also love games just as you are, and then you're seeing designers, people who design these games, and then you're seeing so much games in one room. So all of this put together, it's the experience for me personally has been amazing over the years. And just like last week on was, wow, it was crazy. It's good.
Okay, so you work with children when it comes to games. So I want to know, children learn things from various means. I mean, they're children, their mind is very quick to pick things. So why do you choose games to teach them?
Because I found out that what do you do with games? You play.
Yes,
and
you have
play
fun.
is innate for children.
Yeah.
And so once you tell a child you are going to play a game, all guards are let down. There's nothing, there's no fear. And you know, once you present learning in a game form, every child is able to pick from whatever angle he or she is coming from. For example, if you're kinesthetic, you would love the components of the game. But if you like to read, then the rule book is available for you to go straight to. So every child can benefit from playing games.
Every child can benefit from playing games. That was good because that actually is part of the story that we saw in the trailer of that movie, Queen of Katwe. I mean, she's from the slum, but she later had a good life from what she learned from playing the game chess, a game of chess. But I'm going to ask this here. I did mention that, like, someone at the event said that games help to bond, but we're not also going to eliminate the fact that we see some of these games going digital. So is there, because looking at that, there's a lot of people playing the actual manual games, but we also know that a lot of these games are going digital. So is there some sort of competition, or are people trying to decide, oh, should I do this or should I do that? Because the digital could seem more convenient than that. So.
Okay, so we tell people that when you talk about games, there are different categories. So you have the PC games, you have the mobile games, and then you have the tabletop games. And none of them are competing each other.
Okay.
It's about the one that it's available for you at the time and depending on your context. And when it comes to tabletop games, that's where you see board games, card games, role-play games. People are very used to the board and card games, but I also tell them role-play games are things we've been playing since we were kids.
Yes.
Like we played police and thief.
Yes,
we played father and mother cooking food. Nobody taught us the rule. There were no adult to tell us you have to do this and that. But we are doing it by ourselves, and we all followed those rules. And then we have the dice game, we have the miniature games. When people are playing these games, they are not thinking about computer games or electronic games. They just want to connect to each other. They want to bond. They want to consciously drop their phone because, just like she said, games enthusiastically connect you to the moment. And you don't want to, you want to win. You want to find a way to hack the rule book. And all of this requires,
hack the rule book.
To win. So if you understand the rule of the game, right, then you now start thinking, okay, now that I know the rule of the game, what do I do next?
So you can actually manipulate the game to win.
Yes.
And that's not called cheating.
No, it's not. I mean, it depends on how you look at it. It depends on how you look at it. At some point, you can even say, okay, this is now the house rule, just so you cover the cheating in code. But point is this, people consciously keep their phone aside. But when they want to play their mobile game or PC games or any other type of games, they leave tabletop games. So none of them are competing. Like I was talking to Basi earlier, how a certain convention, not in this country, and you have over 200,000 people gathered together for 4 days. And these are countries that have more technology than ours, more internet connection than ours, but for 4 days. And these are conventions that have spanned over decades.
And some people just want to, when they gather, some people just want to play regular tabletop games, and they still have the people who would rather play the digital forms of games.
We've played games all night.
I'm sorry, what?
We've played games all night.
When I'm supposed to be sleeping. Is the game giving me money?
No once, not twice, not three
Unless
times.
it's giving me money. I mean, I'm going to bed. Anyway, I'm going to ask, right? When you hear the word game, what comes to your mind is fun, and, to enjoy yourself. But we can't also eliminate the fact that they actually help your mind.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, I'm going to ask you that, right? How do these games help improve our mind?
Beautiful. So, for example, let's take a game where you're supposed to bear the consequences of your action. A child needs to focus, one, and then realize that whatever he or she does, the consequences comes back to the child. And so you're going to take your time.
Even through the game?
Yes. Oh, games are beautiful learning spaces where children learn to take turns, children learn to compete and not being sore. And so if I know that if I take this step, the consequence is either good or bad. So I need to be ready. Am I ready for what is going to come out of it?
You're watching your
Yes,
action.
you're going to be careful. You're not going to rush and take that action. You're going to think it through. And then after that, own whatever happens afterwards.
So do you teach them to be able to translate the effects of this game to real life? Because
Yes.
if you're just telling me, oh, if I'm only just conscious of that on the board, it doesn't help me exactly.
And, you know, when they are playing, they're so focused. But conversations after, I've heard my kids say, oh, Mom, the word I learned from that game, I just saw it in my textbook, and now I have a better understanding of it. So they link games to their life, and that's even when games are more important. When they're able to see themselves, take away from the board game and apply it to life. Oh, beautiful experience, beautiful. The light just comes on and they're like, oh, really, life is not so hard, is it? It could be fun when you present it to them from this angle.
Okay, so I'm going to ask right now. Like I did tell the story of how my dad constantly made us play games because he used to buy us these games. But in a very long time, I cannot say I have played the games. I mean, I can't even say I have these games in my house and I play them, except maybe on the phone. You just, oh, you find what, you play what on the phone. Again, they transition to digital. But how, we still have these games in existence. How is the appreciation? Do people still play these games and appreciate them as much as they still did back in the day? I mean, when I was growing up. Because we're not going to erase technology. Technology is here to stay. And it has also gotten into our games as well. Yes. So how is the appreciation for physical board games and tabletop games?
Okay, I think it's about access, right? So
they're in the market. So, but would I go and buy it?
What I mean is, so we already used to the old. So in the tabletop games community, we classify certain games as old classic, and old classic are such as Monopoly, Scrabble, Chess, Ludo, and can I shock you? None of those games are originated from Africa. None of those games, right? But because we've seen those games growing up, that is the only thing we know. And because they are limited, it's easy to build stereotype, prejudice to certain games. For instance, chess is for brilliant people. Scrabble are for people that like. Ludo is for people that don't have.
Yeah, I was also going to ask you about this categorization.
Exactly. You know why? Because they are limited. Draft is for. I do
gamble.
In fact, dice is for gamblers.
Gamblers, yes.
So because they are limited, it's easy for society to build stereotype around these games.
But sorry, let me try. Who did this categorization? Who did the stereotyping on this game?
I don't think we just grew up
because they may affect the way people
accepted
play the game. Because I'm just going to think, oh, if I'm not as brilliant as an expert, I'm not going to play chess. If I'm not good with words, I'm not going to try Scrabble. You know. Yeah. So how did all that?
So that's part of why people don't then
appreciate
buy these games.
them.
Exactly. But when people start saying, oh, there are so much more games. So there's this cafe, we own this cafe, right? There are close to 1,000 different games from around the world. Now people come in and they say, immediately they come in, they are so stiff and they don't want to get themselves embarrassed over games. And then one game just comes out and like, oh, this is so simple, I can play this. Right, and then there are more, and they are playing so much other games. And at the end of the day, or some other time, they come back to buy these games.
So it's just that people are not aware that there are many more games besides the ones that we knew growing up.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get back to that. We're also going to talk about because you did mention that those games, none of them originated from Africa. But these days, I see that we also have that coming up from even Nigeria. We also have our own local games. But before we get to that, let's take a feature on board games. And when we get back, the Medley Show will continue. Stay with us.
In the heart of Nigeria, our diversity as a nation were often brought together through a shared love for storytelling and strategic games. Traditional board games were the cornerstone of social interaction, connecting communities in villages and towns. Picture this. In the early days, games like Ayo, drafts, snakes and ladders, and Ludo were a common sight, played with seeds, wooden boards, and dice. Beyond mere entertainment, these games served as a medium for people to connect, share stories, and build strong social bonds. As time marched on and technology advanced, the landscape of board games in Nigeria underwent a gradual transformation. The internet and mobile phones opened up new gaming possibilities, but the shift from traditional to digital formats happened steadily. Then the game changer arrived. Mobile phones became widely accessible. The gaming industry experienced a surge in popularity, with mobile board games offering convenience and portability. Nigerian developers seized the opportunity, creating mobile versions of traditional games and innovative new ones inspired by local folklore. A remarkable success story emerged with the adaptation of Ayo, the traditional seed sowing game. The mobile version retained its strategic essence but introduced multiplayer features, allowing friends and family to compete in real time, transcending physical distances. The game quickly became a sensation, reaching players worldwide. The evolution of board games in Nigeria wasn't just about technological progress. It mirrored the resilience of cultural heritage in the face of modernization. Digital board games served as a bridge between generations, connecting the past with the present. Whether on a wooden board in a village square or a mobile screen in the bustling city, the spirit of competition, camaraderie, and storytelling persisted, adapting to the times and becoming woven into the rich fabric of Nigerian culture. In the end, the story of board games in Nigeria is a testament to the adaptability of tradition, imagination, and unifying power of technology. Whether played beneath the shade of a village tree or on a glory screen in a modern metropolis, the essence of competition, friendship, and storytelling endures. A timeless stroke in the vibrant painting of Nigerian life.
That was a feature on board games. I'm sure you recognize some from that feature, right? Maybe one that you've played before, or you've seen people play, or you've heard about, whether digital or physical. But please, I'm sure you recognize one game from that. This is the Medley Show, and I still have Kene and Bassi in the studio, and we are still talking games, all manner of games. Before we went on that break, I did talk about indigenously made games. Yeah. You know, you talked about all the popular games we grew up playing, none of them originated from Nigeria. But of course, we would be able to relate and maybe appreciate more our own locally made games. And you guys make games. Yeah, so, and if you look at this table, you would see a lot of games. And 90% of these games are locally produced games, right? Yes. So we're going to talk about some of them. But you've had them for a while. Yes. You've had these games for a while, so how has the appreciation been since you've had people play them?
It's been beautiful. Like, the acceptance has been amazing. So people see this game, the first thought is they're overwhelmed, then they're surprised, and then they start accepting it.
And they have Nigerian names.
Yes, and they're like, oh, I know this, I can relate with this. For instance, there's Campus Wala, and you're seeing characters on a regular Nigerian campus. Is like you're seeing the CSO and you know the dean, your presido, and all of those. And people can relate to.
That's the game here.
Yes, it's one of the games
Campus
there.
Wahala.
Right? And then there's Bosi, right? We were watching Ayo on Cho.
Yes. Thank you. I know it's as in Cho, but
the global name is Mankala, right? And that game is in over 40 African countries. We don't know where the game started from, but my grandma will tell you that it's started from our village. Right, because I remember when we were small, we used to play them on the floor.
On the ground, yes, the dig little holes and we use stones. Yes, so I grew up playing that game too.
In Kogi, I think they call it Inche. So there are so many names for, but nobody knows where that game originated from, right? But these ones, like Bosi.
So you're going to tell me how some of them works. I'm seeing this Owoni Koko.
Yes.
How does that a card game or?
It's a card game, and it's obviously from the Yoruba name is about money. So at the beginning of the game, we share the money to all the players. So all players have money, and then there are now different characters in the society that is helping you either.
Okay, let me interrupt you there. Please do remember that you can join the conversation by sending us messages to 081177822020. The number should be on the screen. Do not call, please. We're sending messages, and of course, we'll take your messages on the show. So please go ahead, Kenneth.
Okay, so when it is about trying to safeguard your money and then trying to take other people's.
That's like Monopoly.
Not really, because you don't roll dice. So in Monopoly, you obviously have to roll your dice, but this is just cards.
This is
yes.
This is how it works?
Yes. So
Okay.
there are certain
there are
characters.
cards.
Yes, there are certain characters that are any Nigerian will be able to relate to all of these characters and what they do. But
okay, I'm seeing selling. I'm seeing justice.
yes.
Okay.
So the end point of the game is about getting money for you to win the game and saving the ones you've got from other people for you to. It's a game that if you play it, you would. I mean, not in a serious way, but you'll be angry with every other person on the table. But not in a serious way. It's
okay. So, Basi, you want to tell me about one of the ones you made for children?
Okay.
I'm seeing Slap It Say.
Yeah, Slap It Say. Most of the games I do are to help children in their learning process. I infuse fun because that's what it's about. Learning shouldn't be a chore. Learning should be something that is engaging and fun. So I remember when we were learning compound words, or if they just tell you today is spelling, everybody grumbles in class. So I decided it doesn't have to be so difficult. It could be fun. And then you find them that this game just makes you pick two words together, pair them together, and form a compound word. And you've won your point.
That's what the game does?
Yes, word pairs. That's what it does.
Okay, word pairs.
Yes.
Okay.
So Slap It Say it is about knowledge of homonyms. Two words that sound alike but have different meanings. So the essence is have fun while learning.
Okay, so I know we've talked about, in the beginning of the conversation, we've mentioned about you making games and how it has helped children. But I just want to know, how did this passion begin? Why did you decide to start making these board games? That's our own, because we had games before you started making them.
Yes.
So how did the passion to start making our indigenously made games? Where did it start from? You want her to begin? Okay, so that's it, go ahead.
Okay, for me, I stumbled into edu gaming. That's what I call it, educational gaming, as a solution to my daughter's learning style. And I found that she was struggling with verbal instructions in school. Whereby my first daughter. Okay. That's how I stumbled into edu gaming.
Okay.
It was an answer to a problem.
Okay.
So I realized that if you verbalize instruction to her, she struggles. But once there are components she can interact with, she sails. And so I'm like, okay, fine. So we're going to do something that is going to make learning fun and easy for you. I translated all her English instructions into tangible things she could interact with. And then I found out that it worked for her. She brought home friends who enjoyed it. And then that gave me an idea.
So what was supposed to be like a solution to her problem became a solution to the problem for many other children.
Definitely.
So Kenna, you want to share your own?
Yeah, mine is just one word, boredom. It was, in 2013. But over the years, obviously, there are a lot of stuff that have added to that. But we were just super bored. I was sitting on campus. There was this long 6-month strike, right? And we tried a lot. We tried lifting weights. I remember the things we tried. And I had this medical student, and he was super bored. And we tried to play electronic games. He didn't enjoy it. So I now said, you know what? I'm going to design a very long, boring game for you. And that was how. I don't know how it happened. And I designed that game, and we played that game, and it didn't make sense until 2 years later, where I met. I was volunteering for a program, and I was working with some British people, and they saw value in it. Something that
we didn't even take seriously.
Oh, it made this girl say yes. Whoa! And it became. I said, can you do another one? And in 3 months, I did 2 games for them,
wow.
And I was using the experiences. And that was how I
life it, because I'm seeing campus life, I'm seeing I'm seeing Slap It Say It. So yeah, so we just put our African and Nigerian experiences and make it becomes fun. Okay, so I'm going to take a few messages before we go on. I have Janet from Bauchi. She says, oh, I grew up playing Ludo and what? I didn't know there was more. Well, now you know there are more games that you could enjoy. I have another message from Ebony. She says, my name is, okay, there is no name, but just Ebony. And she says, I'm hearing about all these new games. Where do I find them? I mean, you're going to have to try to find Kene and Basi later to be able to find out where to get all these new games. But for now, at least you've gotten the knowledge. Yeah. So I also have a message from Matthew from Benue State. He says, there is, okay, let me understand. He says, I played Ludo, Monopoly, Scratch, Scrabble. It's good to know we have our own indigenously made games. Thank you so much, Matthew. Your message is well appreciated. I mean, that's what we do on the Medley. We don't just entertain you, we bring you very good information. So I also have, oh, okay, this name is confusing. I hope I call it well. This is Enoma from Gary Key. Enoma says, oh, I'm enjoying the show. Thank you so much for bringing us information. Thank you too. So this is Edith. Edith from Port Harcourt says, I've heard about Owonikoko. I mean, oh, it's that popular?
Yes.
Oh, okay. She says, I've heard about Owonikoko, but all the others are strange to me. Thank you for bringing me this information. Thank you so much, Edith, for sending us a message. There's Machuku from Imo State. He says, great show. Thank you so much. I'm learning a lot from this show. Okay, so before we continue, I mean, because we're still going to talk, before we continue, I don't know if you guys have heard about this guy called Tunde Onokoya, who did a lot from slum to the chess. Yes, chess in the slum, yes. So we're going to take a feature to look at all the work that Tunde has done. Kene Basi, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate you teaching us a lot about these games. But we're going to have another guest when we come back, or before then, watch what Tunde Onokoya has been doing with the chess game. When we return, we'll talk about it.
A huge slum propped up by stilts. Located in the south of Lagos, the economic capital of Nigeria, Makoko is the biggest floating slum in the world. Around 250,000 people live here in extreme poverty. But today, the local children have something to look forward to. Tunde Onokoya has come for a visit. Like them, he grew up in a slum, and he's come to teach them to play chess.
All right, let me take this class. Chesslers! Chesslers! All right. So how do you start your game? Is that a good way to start? Yes. Give him a round of applause. Good. So now if you play this...
Every weekend they work on improving their performance, thanks to Onokoya, a former chess champion.
How will you defend this one?
I thought if I could teach little children from these slums how to play chess, the world's perception about them would change. Instead of looking at them as just poor kids, they'll look at them as kids that could actually show high intellectual capacity for something. I mean, the end is not to make all of them chess champions, to use the game as a way to give them mentorship, to give them an education.
Once they've learned the basics, the children play against each other, supervised by a volunteer. This 15-year-old girl says chess has changed her life.
I've not really heard about chess before. Still, Tunde came here. It gives me more confidence. I'm standing in front of a lot of people. I'm playing with different kind of people. It can make my dream to come true.
Tinwola had been forced to give up on her schooling due to a lack of funds and has been helping her mother to sell soap and shampoo along the canals of the slum instead of going to class. But she's now getting her notebooks back out. A donor to the charity that organises her chess classes has offered to pay for her schooling.
I wanted to be a doctor in my future so that I can help a lot of people, because in our community, a lot of people die because of money. They die when they are sick, they don't have money. They just die like this.
At Amajidun, another slum in Lagos, it's competition day.
And give your best. And give your what? Give your best. So when you're starting out, you shake hands with your opponent and start. Shake hands and start.
Once a month, the children of the neighbourhood face off against each other, with a small cash prize given to the top performers. As the day goes by, tensions rise. Mabel's won her 4th game. She's just 8 years old.
We are using this medium to nurture their talent, to show them that there's always going to be a reward for hard work. Because when they win, they win prizes. And with the cash prizes, they can support their families with that.
Among the older children, it's 15-year-old Michael who's come out on top.
Why are you wearing this medal, sir? Oh, you won?
Michael's won a scholarship to attend a private school, and he'll also get a computer. The charity now wants to expand into other countries in Africa and bring about change in children's lives across the continent.
Thank you so much, France 24, for casting that spotlight on the good work that Tunde Onokaya is doing. I mean, it kind of also reminds me of Queen of Katwe, the one you saw when the show started. This is like our Nigerian version, helping children to stay off the streets by learning a game, and in turn also learning how to deal with whatever that they come across in life. And the show is still moving on. This is the Medley Show. If you just joined us, you've missed so much, but you're just in time for our final segment on the show. And just like the 8-year-old that you saw in that report, I have a 9-year-old in the studio who I like to call a chess champion. Her name is Ivie Urientu. How are you, Badu? How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Welcome to the Medley Show. So you are a chess champion. I see your chess set is already here. So when did you start playing?
I started playing chess at the age of 4.
4. How did you develop the interest?
My dad taught me how to play chess.
Your dad taught you? Of course, your dad has to teach you. At age 4, it has to be either daddy or mommy. But of course, you developed interest somehow. How? Yes. Like why? Why did you decide to start?
Because the way the knight moved inspired me to start playing chess.
The way the what?
Knight move.
The knights. Oh yeah, because the knights in the game.
Because the knight does not have an obstacle.
Say that again?
The knight does not have an obstacle.
The knight does, that's the only person who doesn't have an obstacle.
Yes.
So there is the knight, there's the bishop, there's a king, there's a queen, and there are I like to call them the errand boys. All that. So as a child who has been playing chess for a while now, there must have been some life lessons that you've learned from playing this game. Care to share? Care to share some of the life lessons, some of the things you've learned from playing chess? I mean, it should have been beyond just a game for you at this point. Yes. Yeah, so what are some of the things you've learned from playing chess?
It helps me to have a strategy. It helps me to have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. It helps me not to be too comfortable. It helps me to be focused.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. That's all you learned?
No, there are more.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
It helps me to see the big picture.
To see the big picture, that's good. So you've been able to, I mean, have you been able to relate some of the things that you've learned from chess to school? I mean, you're still in school.
Yes.
And you're playing chess and you're still a student. So how have you been able to, you know, connect what you've learned from chess and then school?
Okay, so in my school we have a chess club, so I'm the instructor.
Oh. Say that again. I mean, they need to hear you. You're what?
I'm the instructor.
You're the instructor of your chess club.
Yeah.
Do you have people who are older than you in your chess club?
Yes, like they're in from 6 or from 5.
And you teach them how to play chess?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me some of your experiences in teaching other children how to play chess.
Sometimes I organize a mini tournament, but there's no prize, so that they can just learn.
Okay.
In case they go for a real tournament. And I make sure they know plenty puzzles.
Okay, so why do you feel the need to teach other children to play chess?
So that when they grow up in life, they will not be doing bad things.
They will not be doing bad things, okay? So I'm going to come back to you, Basi. You deal with children like this. You use games to teach them. She has said so many things that she has learned from playing this game, chess. So why do you think other children should be encouraged to play games? I mean, as a learning strategy, maybe not just chess, other games too.
Well, see, games expose your mind to situations you wouldn't find outside. For example, competitions. You're competing against your opponent, and then you need to be focused, because once you lose focus, they've gone ahead of you. Alternatively, you also learn teamwork, where you have to work together to achieve a goal.
Teamwork, so that's part of what they teach them with this game.
Oh yes, so you're either opposing teams or you're working together. Another thing, attention span, because there's some that once you take your mind off it, by the time you're back, you're lost. You don't even know what happened on the board. And then concentration, you need to really follow through. You can't jump, you can't be distracted. So all those things, teach them focus, teach them concentration. Then attentiveness. listening skills. There's some games you need to read out the instructions, and if you didn't hear the instruction at the beginning, then you're going to miss out on a lot of things in the game. A lot of things come from taking turns. You need to wait to learn that I have to wait for one person to do something before I do it. Another thing, deductive thinking. You deduce from a big picture till it becomes a tiny one. So many skills are learned, soft skills are learned using games. And these are things you can't just come and say, today I'm going to teach you how to listen. No,
they just discover them in the process of playing the games.
And then there are some talents you realize that without exposure to these games, you won't discover you had. Like my first child likes the components of the game, but my second child, who is an audio-visual, loves to sit down, pick up the rule book, dissect it, and then teach the next person.
Oh, wow. That's good.
So everybody has something.
So you learn all manner of things, all manner of skills.
Oh, yes,
from
all
playing
manner,
these games.
a lot of things.
But you know, when Kenny was here, he mentioned something. When we're talking about these games, he mentioned a word. He said access. Some people do not have access to these games. So are we saying that children who do not have access to learning through these games or through any type of game at all may not be as what's the word now, as aware or as cognitively enabled as the ones who play these games?
I won't say totally so. For example, these games just bring to fore some things that were internal and you were not aware of.
Oh, right.
But you can use anything to make a game. It doesn't have to be produced and tidy like this. Even in classrooms, you could use anything, come together. Sometimes I even encourage the children to play the games that they have made from the components found in the classroom. So you don't really need to have access to produce games. You can teach children to use the components found in their classroom to create games.
I remember that's how we came up with those role-playing games that we do, play mother and father and police and thief and all that. Oh, right.
So you see it being done and then you replicate it on a lower scale. That's it.
So do you play any other game besides the chess?
Yes.
Okay, so what are other games?
I play Scrabble.
You play Scrabble too?
Yeah.
And?
Sometimes I play Snake and Ladder
just for fun. Okay, so the others, you play them to learn something, but Snake and Ladder is just for fun.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about your favorite chess piece and why. What's your favorite chess piece?
The knight.
The knight. Why?
Because it doesn't have an obstacle.
So what has that taught you beyond the game? What has that taught you? What has the knight as a chess piece taught you? You're not sure? Yeah. Okay, so just tell me about your most memorable game played. What's your most memorable? Which game have you played that, when you think about it, you still get excited?
Okay, it was the game I played at National Stadium when I was 6 years old.
Okay.
I took first for the lower category.
Okay.
My last game, it was very long and I enjoyed it, even though I still won.
You still won, yes. But you got, jittery at some point because you were competing with someone who was as strong as you are. Okay, so are there chess players that you look up to? Are there, besides your father, who I know is your #1 mentor, so are there other chess players that you look up to who inspire you to keep playing and why?
Judy Poga.
Okay.
Because
she's
a female chess player.
Okay.
Oh,
it's a she?
Yes,
Forgive me. Okay, go ahead.
She didn't go to school like us. She didn't go to school, so her father homeschooled her while they were still doing chess.
Oh, wow.
So at the age of 15, I think she already had a title.
Okay.
Which was either International Master or a GM.
Oh, wow.
For her country, but right now, I think she's a GM.
She's a GM?
Yes.
Oh, and she inspires you. So you want to, at what age do you think you're going to get an international title?
At the age of 15.
15? So you're projecting, you're 9 now.
Yes.
So in the next 6 years, you should have an international title to your name as a chess player. That's interesting, that's good to know. But I need to know, I mean, you're 9, you're still in school, and besides just playing the game, you're doing a lot of chess work across the country. So how do you balance school and your chess game?
Okay, I have a timetable for school and for chess. So when I come back from school, I read my books. Then the many hours left, I use it to do chess.
Okay. So you already have a timetable.
Yes.
So should I say that she learned this from chess? I mean, this is planning. This is planning. You have a timetable, time for chess, time to so once it's time to read, you drop your game.
Yes.
And you go and do schoolwork.
Yes.
And once that time elapses, you're back to your chess game. So do you ever do any one more than the other?
Oh, no, they're equal.
They must be equal?
Yes.
Why?
Because school is important and chess is important.
Oh.
So they both are important to me.
They are both important, so you have to balance them so that one doesn't suffer. Okay, let's talk about some chess tactics or strategies that you enjoy using the most. Is there any particular chess tactics or strategy that you like using the most?
Okay, I kind of like Raul Lopez, but it's an opening.
Okay.
It helps to develop the pieces more.
It helps to develop the pieces more?
Yes.
Do you want to show me?
Okay, yes,
okay,
I can.
Go ahead. Come show me.
So, you're meant to control the center.
Okay.
This is the center. So, in Raul Lopez, you first of all do
Wait,
this.
before you continue. Basi, do you know how to play chess?
Unfortunately,
so this might just be a good time to learn.
Unfortunately, no. I ran away from learning to play chess as a child.
Okay, so if you go ahead, teach us.
Okay, so the pawn moves straight.
Okay.
So if you're playing the Raul Lopez, you have to move the pawn first. So black will respond to the same thing. Then you develop your knight. The reason why
That's your favorite chess piece,
yes.
I remember.
The reason why I said the knight does not have an obstacle because the knight can jump over this pawn and nothing can capture it.
Okay.
But the knight moves L-shape, so it goes 1, 2, and 3. So from here, it can move here.
Just before you lose me on my own show, you said the knight moves L-shaped.
Yes.
So they don't all move in the same direction.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me the different directions that the pieces move.
If the white knight is coming from the dark square, it's landing on the white square.
Okay.
So if the white knight is landing on the white square, then it's coming on the dark square. And notice the knight also captures L shape.
Okay, the knight captures L shape. Okay.
So from here, the knight can come here. So from white, you go to black. So that's how you will be doing it until the game is over. So
the game is over?
Yes.
Until the game is over.
Until the game is over.
Yes.
Okay.
Then white develops, then black does the same thing, but not with the same knight. So he develops. Now, this is a 4-knight game.
Okay.
So from here, black wants to open the center so that his bishop will be active. So black wants to do the same thing. Usually, white is supposed to take, then take, and take. It will be equal, but some people don't like to take it.
Basi, are you getting this?
Trying to.
Yeah, I'm with you in trying to. I think I'm trying to as well because our hands are just going, and you know. Okay, Evie, thank you so much. You can sit down. This is amazing. This is amazing. I have some messages. I have people sending messages because of Evie, but I'm just going to run through them so that the show is up. We're almost done, but I don't want to, not take these messages. There are people saying, someone said they've seen you on TV before, Evie. So I think you're very popular. Someone says, well done. I enjoyed seeing children being very active, and this is good. Kudos to your parents. So I guess we're going to clap for your dad. He did a good work with that. There are so many messages, but because of time, I'm not going to be able to take all of them, but I want to say thank you so much but before let me just ask you this. Have you made friends, like really good friends from playing chess?
Yeah,
tell me about it.
When I go to tournaments,
okay,
I usually make friends at the end, like the closing ceremony. So when I'm done with my last game, I just go outside and start making friends.
So besides just playing the game, you're also able to network and connect with new people. So Basi, final word. Just give me an advice to children when it comes to games. Just final word.
Just go out, enjoy yourself, and don't be stereotyped. Don't restrict yourself to the 4 we know. Go find as many games as you can find and have fun doing so.
Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you so much. And Evie, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Keep playing chess. Don't stop. And make sure all the children around you. How many siblings do you have?
Just one.
Just one. Have you taught her to play chess now? So she or he?
Is a she.
Is a she. So she can also play chess now. How old is she?
She's 5 years.
Oh, that was after you started playing at 4. So yeah, that's understandable.
And she also started playing at 4.
So once you're 4, your daddy starts to walk. That's amazing. 4 is the magic number. So once the person gets to 4, daddy goes to work. The person has to play chess. Okay, that's good. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Basi, thank you so much, and for all that you're doing with children and using games. So you guys, well done. Thank you. I'm sure you had an amazing time on the show today. I did. I mean, it was so fantastic learning about all these new games. Like she said, don't stay stereotyped too. I mean, if I knew just Ludo, Scrabble, chess and all that, now I know Owoni Koko, I know Campus Ohala, I know Niger Particular, I know Biden Room. I'm going to try all the other games, because besides just what you know from the school books, you could also learn a lot about life playing games by just having fun, right? So I'm glad you joined us today. Thanks so much for your messages. But until we come your way again next week with another fantastic conversation on the Medley Show, my name is Sochi Puta. See you next time. Bye-bye.